of Northumberland.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Toon Review. Tonight it is the Loaded Toon Review show, of course, and we have the rabble over from the Loaded Mag NUFC. We've got Chris, we've got Daz, and we've got Pete, and we've got the usual squad from the Toon Review, who, as Danielle's proudly shown off, our co-host mug. Billy has got one as well, with Lemsip in it, apparently, so there you go. Mine is containing Pepsi Max, although I do have a new one on its way because Susan forgot. I haven't got my name on it. It just says host. So the mods have got better mugs than me at the minute. So never mind. A lot to go through tonight, no doubt. Pete does have something to say, which we're all very intrigued about. Suffering badly from hay fever tonight, but we'll let him get it off his chest in a minute because I'm looking forward to it because it's probably, something that we're probably all going to agree with. Pete, why don't you just start us off with what you've got to say?
Look, it's not anything massive. Like, I'm just seeing a lot of stuff on social media over the last few days. I haven't really been very active the last few days, but just looking back, and then in particular today with the obviously the news about Botman and all the rest of it from Luke Edwards, and there just seems to be this ultimate meltdown from fans when things aren't going the way that we expect them to go. And like, my message just to any Newcastle fan, whether you want to listen or not, is completely up to you. It's just chill out. Like, just chill. It's 4 days into this transfer window.
Yep.
Like, and we're already getting stressed about the fact that the Botman deal's not gone through and it's a saga and all the rest of it. Well, I'll tell you what, fucking get used to it, guys. Get used to it. Because we've had 14 years of not being in any saga whatsoever because we've been in no deals because we've signed fucking nobody.
Yep.
And the reason why I say this is because if you go back to when Newcastle was a team that was challenging the upper end of the table, there weren't sagas in transfer deals. There weren't long drawn out deals. There weren't haggles over deals and agent fees and all the rest of it, because that's how long it's been since we've been in a position to actually compete with some of the best teams in Europe for top players. This is what we've got to come to expect at Newcastle United now, because we're at the top table with some of the best teams. Look, let's face it. In reality, with where we finished in the league this season, with where we started this season, do we really have a God-given right to just pluck Sven Botman away from AC Milan, Serie A winners, Champions League team? No, we don't have a God-given right. But we're in there, and we're in with a fantastic chance of taking these top young players and bringing them to Newcastle that finished 11th in the Premier League. Like, just if we just think about it as Newcastle fans for a second and where we're at right now, it's fucking amazing where we're at. And we better get used to it because we're going to have more sagas. We're going to have more drawn out transfers. We're going to have more difficult negotiations. But that's what comes with us being a fucking top class team. And we will be a fucking top class team for years to come. And that's just my message for tonight. And it annoys me. Look, I understand that people are frustrated. We want deals done. We want players in. We want to see them parading the shirt and at St. James's Park. And all the rest of it. I get it. I'm the same. But sometimes we've just got to step back and just think about where we've come from and where we are right now. Okay, we need to do this, and we're going to need to do this over the next 10 years. Remind ourselves of where we've come from to truly understand where we're at right now. Now, for us to get the likes of Sven Botman and Lucas Paqueta, whether you believe Luke Edwards or not, or any other journalist, right, we have no God-given right to get these sort of players like Bruno Guimaraes. No God-given right. So if we get them, we've done fucking well to get them. So that's just my message, is just fucking chill. Newcastle fans, chill out. We will fucking get players that we need to move up the table. Yeah, we just need to calm.
Pete Davey, everyone. Pete Davey.
It's a message we've mirrored on this channel as well. I think it started since when the Diego Carlos deal went through. I think it really started a lot of fans off panicking because obviously he was one of our targets. And yeah, exactly. There's a lot of players out there in a lot of positions we will get good players.
Jonathan's put a comment in here saying, is anyone else absolutely sick to death of this Sven Botman saga? Apparently, Lille have raised the asking price again after agreeing a fee. Might sound negative, but I want to walk away now. Look, at the end of the day, it's like Pete said, we've got to wait and see what happens. Let the club do the business instead of all this outcry on social media. You know, it doesn't help when you have all these ITKs on social media as well saying, oh, such and such is having a medical, such and such is flying in now. There's a plane touching down in Newcastle from France. Happens every frigging day, guys. Planes fly into airports every day. And it doesn't mean that a footballer is sitting on the back end of it. It's ridiculous. So that doesn't help. And everybody's then sort of saying, oh, why aren't we saying, why didn't he come? Why hasn't he come? Just chill the hell out. It's going on too much. And Pete's right. It's causing complete pandemonium amongst the Newcastle fan base. When look back to where we were 12 months ago. Look back then. 12 months ago, we were shopping in Pound Stretcher trying to get Hamza friggin' Chowdhury. And now
I was getting banned from the MPs for emailing them too many times. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So
and we were more patient then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. But now, just because we link with international class players, all hell breaks loose. It just goes over the top. And I'm sick of switching on Twitter or YouTube and saying, oh, such and such landing today, signing, medical boot. So fucking what? If it's going to happen, it'll happen. And Newcastle United will announce when the deal has happened.
And that's the point. That's the point, Paul. They never say medical's booked for 3 weeks. So-and-so's coming in 3-4 weeks. It's always next day. It's now. And people get impatient when it doesn't happen because they don't know fuck all.
Look at Matt Target. He was done in a day. Nobody knew he was coming for a medical until the club announced it. So I don't give it. Listen, there is people out there who know stuff, right? And I do listen to some people out there. And you lads on Loaded, you've got one of them in Sean Casey. I like what he's got to say. He's not always right, but
we've got two of them actually because we've got Lee as well. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, your brother. But listen, the bottom line is, not everybody is going to be right all the time.
No.
But there's people out there who just do it to try and get likes and clicks and subs, and it's bang out of order. And it needs to bloody stop because it's pathetic. It's a pathetic attitude to have. You just don't know anything. So just wait till the club announces it. I'm sick of sitting here show after show saying we are not going to say anything on here until the deal is done or until Newcastle United announce that a player is coming in for talks or a medical. What's the point? You look stupid.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you reckon?
I agree, mate. Yeah, you probably saw me nodding away there, Paul. I mean, like, it's raising fans' expectations, and that's where the whole struggle comes from, and everyone starts panicking. And like us on Loaded, Paul, I know you are exactly the same. We like to speculate, we like to talk about players, we like to talk about positions that we can improve on. But it is literally, and we will all say this, it's literally our opinion, or we're basing it on speculation that's out there. Not for 1 minute are we saying this player's coming in or we're definitely going to get that player. We're just literally talking about, the club we love, and we're talking about, potential signings. And at that point, when we always make it clear on the show, as I know you do, that we're just chewing the fat. We're not saying, oh, by the way, they're going to be coming in next week. We're just working with what we've got.
Because it's nice to do that, isn't it? It's a completely different environment for us as fans where we can be linked to so many quality players. And like I've said all along, when Alex puts his stats up and stuff, we're not saying they're going to sign. What we're doing is we're looking at the names and then we're seeing how good they've been, what the stats are, and what they would bring to the club should they sign in the future. There's no point sitting here saying, oh, medicals booked, all of this crap, because it doesn't work. It doesn't work, and it's false information. And that's what Peter was getting at, is that it just, everybody just goes into overdrive for some reason. Daz, I know, hosting the Loaded shows, it's the same with you guys. You talk about players, and it's good information because it's nice to talk about these players in a way that we haven't been able to do for 15 years under Mike Ashley.
Yeah, no, like for us, okay, we're starting off as we stand now. Links in what Pete was saying. There's 11.5 weeks left before the transfer window closes, so there's plenty of time to chop and change targets, players, signings, outgoings, the lot. But like at the start of before the transfer window kicked off, we said, what are we going to do for the summer? we decided we're going to go with one main transfer show, and that's our fully loaded transfer show. Because for us, that was enough. I know you guys do it differently. You look at stats on players and what they could bring, but we said we're just going to concentrate on like we did in January, concentrate on the rumors and link in the knowledge from the reporters, the journalists, and add our own little bits to it as well. So it would be overkill if we started doing that 3 or 4 times a week. People would eventually get bored of it because there is 11 and a half weeks to go. So that's the approach we took to it. But look, we just have to. I know. I'm starting to get impatient as well, but I do know there's a long road ahead. Like we want to get the next one over the line, and then we can move forward because we know there's a lot to be done, both incomings and outgoings. But Dan Ashford is only in the job a couple of days as well, so give him a chance to look at the paperwork, even of what's been proposed to him. So a lot has to happen.
Geordie Mick, thanks for becoming a new member of the channel. Welcome to the family. And Renee Talak as well, thank you very much for becoming a member. Devon says, can't wait for the show to start. Absolutely fantastic news on the refurbishment of the training ground. Yeah, we'll come on to that. Nice to see the diggers there today. Danielle, I mean, obviously you're not on Twitter anymore because it's just, it's a cesspit at times, as we know. But
absolutely.
I mean, what are you making of all the panic? Are you unsettled by the lack of signings already, or do you think it's, as we've already said, that things take time, and like Pete said, these are bigger players now, and let's not forget the likes of Ekitike and Botman. I'm not going to pronounce his name properly because if he's come to Newcastle, it'll be Ekitike. It's a Geordie. But Danielle, these players are making career moves now. They're still young. This next contract for both players, if we're talking about both of them, are huge for their futures. So that's why it's taken probably longer than it would be expected, because the players need to know what's going to happen over the next few years, etc. It's all about positivity, isn't it? And selling the club to them.
It is, and I'm not stressed at all, me. I'll wait all the time in the world if the right players come in. Absolutely, we've got the best people in the job. We've got Dan Ashworth. We've got the fantastic owners that we've got. We're so lucky compared to where we were a year ago. I mean, that was real stress. That having cabbage face managing our club. There was only one way it was going. It wasn't up. So that was real stress and that was real grief. This is like party time. My feet are up. I'm chilled. What will be will be. I've got 100% faith in the team at the club to do the right thing, and I don't care if Botman, if they want to add 6 million on, then we'll decide whether we're going to go ahead or we're not, and that's it. There's no point in turning myself inside out over it. The next thing I'm focused on at the moment is the fixtures being released on Thursday, and let's see who we're going to take 3 points from first. Simple. Yeah,
absolutely. There was a 50 krona super chat came in there, and I can't remember who it was from. I think it was. I'll come. Zishan, thank you for your $8.99 super chat as well, matey. He says, evening, people. Just seen on Sky Sports transfer news, they have labelled us as the baggies. Don't know their pigeon woman has left the building. Listen, they've been making mistake after mistake after mistake on Sky News recently. So, well said, Pistol Pete. Well said, Pete. Absolutely right, Pete. Loves Pete. Passion for NUFC. Absolutely. Good evening, Rachel.
I'd like to call out every single journalist as well. Every single journalist today.
Hey, a bit of a spicy start tonight, by the way.
They've all been quoted and they've written regarding Ekitike's hamstring injury, not as whatever or severe or bad, as first thought, as once. They've done a variations of that sentence.
Yeah.
Who said that? Who said it was bad? Who said it was severe? Where's this come from? Have you spoken to Bernard? What's his name? Diomidi, the French under-20s coach. He was on the bench. So. He was ready to play in that final. Who's told you? Who's told you, journalist? Romano tweeted this. Who's told you that? Did you have a phone call with the France under-20s coach? I don't understand where they're getting some of this information from. It feels like even the journalists, to a degree, are just throwing certain things out there. It's very possible I'm 100% wrong on that take. Maybe they have spoken to the coach. but it just doesn't seem very likely. They're all very busy and they're reporting on 30 odd clubs. It seems a massive long shot that they've been in contact with. He was probably drunk after winning the final. He wasn't on the phone. Like, come on.
Oh, give me a bit of red wine, you know.
You've got to use a bit of common sense in some of these transfers.
Guys, I was just going to say about the Ekitike. I don't know if we're going to get onto it at some point.
Just 2 seconds, buddy. We've had another 50 kroner in from Roy. It was him that sent the first one. So thanks very much, Roy. Really appreciate that. Sorry, Pete. Go on, mate.
No, I was going to say, because obviously Alex brought it up. I've had a sneaky feeling now for the last week or so, and then in particular when Ekitike apparently did his hamstring.
You've got to say Ekitike on this show, Pete. It's Ekitike.
All right, Ekitike.
And you've had a request there in the comments, by the way, Pete.
My brother's going to.
Hey,
my brother's going to kill me for calling.
I know he will. I was going to say he'll have your life
because he's very particular on it. Obviously, he speaks fluent French and he obviously knows his stuff.
So is Alex with his Queen's English.
But yeah, he just he's very particular on his pronunciations. But anyway, Ekitike. I've been convinced now, and particularly since he did his hamstring, that a lot of that was fabricated. And fabricated in order to protect his value.
Yeah.
Because if he picks up a bad hamstring injury, that could effectively affect the deal. And Fabrizio Romano, like Alex said, and a number of other journalists came out and said it could potentially affect the deal. Deal might not go through, blah, 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 blah. And I think maybe the French squad, look, because Ekitike is the player that probably should have started and would have tore up that game in the final. There's no doubt about it. He's that good. And for him to not even come off the bench, even when they were losing, when they were chasing the game.
There's an added information I forgot to put on as well. They hid the fact that he was on the bench. There was no bench listing on the official tournament Twitter page. They didn't list the benches. They only listed the starting 11s. And then when you went on websites, Google and SofaScore and other places, he was not listed on the bench. And then when the commentary started talking about him coming on, he appeared everywhere. I didn't take any screenshots, but fortunately some of our viewers did and proved that I'm not insane. So all of these websites and people, as soon as they saw the commentary talk about it and he had his bib on, they added it to all of the websites. So there's definitely something weird has gone on there.
Yeah,
100%.
I think he was only added about 30 odd minutes or so, because I looked at about 35 minutes and he was added on at that point when I looked on the website. Whereas I think from what Alex is saying before,
SofaScore was 50-60. Google was first half. It was very strange.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but the way he went down when he pulled up, it was like an Olympic 100-meter final when the favourites done his hamstring after 20 yards. No way he was going to walk off the pitch. He walked off without a limp. So
yeah. Rem are a team that don't produce very regularly top level French players, and 30 million euros is big money for them. They might not get that for another player for another 10 years.
I mean, and Buku's goal, to be fair, that's his mate, isn't it? Yeah, what a hit from that for the winner.
But even hang on a sec, he might not earn that sort of money.
Hang on a sec. Are you saying that you think that he faked the injury to be taken off, and that they wouldn't that they couldn't just ask the under 21 manager to not play him?
I have no idea.
I think in my opinion, I think he has been managed over this tournament by the club and by the national team. So I think yes, I think that there's an element of protecting him. Now his right hamstring was strapped up anyway, so there's obviously a concern there about his hamstring, and I think they've played on that. There might have been something that went, maybe not massive, but something's tweaked.
Yeah.
And I think they've said at this point, we're not taking any risks, you're coming off. And I think the club have maybe been, and look, this happens. This happens at the top level in English football with an English first team with players. So for it to happen in under 20s in France, it wouldn't surprise me either. That Rom are thinking to themselves, this could affect us millions in terms of if he gets injured. And they would have said to French 21, you can have him at the squad and you can have him, because if Venezuela under 20s are looking and seeing Ekitike linked to Newcastle with Premier League, €30 million bid, that in itself, just having his name on the bench is a fear for them. He doesn't even need to play, and he didn't need to play, thankfully, for them in the end. But just having him on the bench is a fear for them. Probably had no intentions of playing. Yeah. Maybe coming on, take a penalty in extra time, whatever. I don't know. But for me,
I think fake is probably the wrong word as well. I think it was more just precautionary stuff, wasn't it? It was more.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I don't know if anyone else agrees with that.
No, that's fine.
That's just my observations of the situation, because I know it happens. It's happened before on many of deals, up and down English football and European football.
There's definitely something to it. It's not as cut and dry as some people have made out. There's definitely something weird going on.
Tampa Toon, thank you for your $25 super chat. Very kind, thank you. Commented that love these Loaded Toon review collabs. So do we. That's why we do them. So make sure you get subscribed to both channels. The link for the Loaded guys is down below in the description. We've also had a £5 super chat in from Louis, and he wants to know why you're drinking Coke from a wine glass, Pete. Are you turning Italian like John Sinclair? That ain't Coke in that glass, I'm telling you now.
Custom made brandy glass.
There you go.
With my name on it. And the condensation means you can't see it, but it's got my name there. Only brandy goes in this glass.
You need a loaded one, Pete.
It's like fucking royalty, isn't it? Honestly.
Look, where's Simon when you need him? Come on.
Tiger Studios says, will you say the same thing when we haven't signed anyone and it's the transfer deadline day, Pete?
Howie, man. Howie.
Tiger, you know what? All opinions, fair enough. Absolutely valid point. Are we really going to go into deadline day making only one signing in Matt Target? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think I'd be shocked that if we're sitting here on a collab show next week together and there hasn't been yet a final and yet there's been another signing, I'll be very shocked. Between now and when we're together in our next collab, I expect us to have a new player in the team. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Right. Who's Simon?
Simon is on it, Pete, for your brandy. Shy Barnes. If you look on my left and right, you'll see our list of sponsors. Martin is actively trying to get us more. Won't come on the show, the lazy. Where
are you, Martin? Where's your big gob? Get on here. Jonathan says, I wasn't trying to be negative. I'm just sick of Lille. Yeah, that's fine. Look, that's understandable. Yeah. If Lille are playing funny buggers like Manchester United did with Lingard back in January, that's fine. You know, it is frustrating if they did agree. But listen, we don't know if a fee was definitely accepted or not. You know, that's the thing that we don't know for 100% certain. But if they've changed their mind, they want more money, then they're entitled to it. But the one problem that Lille, they're playing Russian roulette because they could lose a lot of money through this. If they play funny buggers for too much longer. So, you know,
we'll have to do this for the next few years. It's going to be the same for the next few years because we've not got all of these top clubs have got an established network of friends, directors, sponsors, people in the know, agents, firms. They've got all this in place. They've got a web and they've got influence. We haven't built that to sort of the level we're trying to play at yet. We're not at that table, so we're walking up to clubs and they are mugging us off a little bit. They're trying to. It will take a few years for us to be respected in the transfer market. It's just going to take time. I think this is going to happen with a lot of transfers. It will happen in January. It will happen next summer. We just got to get used to it. It will grow out of it when we get more influence, but it's just how it is at the moment.
Do you know what, as well, it's a great point, Alex, because I think now we've got Dan Ashworth on board, I think we'll slowly start to see those kind of things stop happening because,
exactly,
you know, there's going to be agreements where they go, right, let's put this provisional agreement in place. This is the fee we've agreed to. If you pull out, a bit like what we've seen with Mike Ashley, if you pull out, you know, you'll be liable to pay us X amount of compensation, and then clubs won't be able to do that. Once you agree a fee, that's it set, and then it's up to us to make negotiations with the player. And if they fall through, then obviously, you know, there'll be certain repercussions and whatnot.
We've got no bargaining right now. If we had a big web of agents and past dealings with Lille and Ligue 1, We could now just say to Lille, hey, look, if you're going to treat us like that, you can sod off. We'll blacklist you from everybody. We could have bargaining power, but we don't currently have that. We've got no influence. Maybe in 3 to 5 years' time, we can start doing that. We can start pushing our weight a bit. It's not just about money. It's about influence as well, and we just don't have it right now. That's why Dan Ashworth, is very important.
Yeah. Ian McKenna says, I saw Botman jet skiing into Newcastle down the Tyne. Jones has been linked with these names is enough for me. Better than no names at all.
Absolutely.
Glenn says, Paul, watch your blood pressure. You're getting on, you cheeky get. V says, people have forgotten already. It's all knee-jerk reactions. Pilo Keith was simply gone on. The big right hand says, love it when Tall Paul goes on one.
Tall Paul.
Thanks very much. Slightly away from transfers, Billy, diggers at the training ground today.
Amazing, isn't it? Digging up wheelie bins and paddling pools and all sorts. Fantastic. We're actually moving into 21st century, 22 years late.
And it is going to be a big change, isn't it?
Oh, huge. And I think that might encourage players to come as well. People don't want to see others running around the car park and stuff like that, do they? They want to see up-to-date modern stuff. And that's what we've got now. And that will definitely attract players, better players.
Danielle, what do you think? Are you happy that finally the Benton's getting a bit of a makeover?
Yeah, it needs it, man, isn't it? It's like, 20, 30 years is exactly the same as it is today. So, yeah, I'd love to be there, me. I'd knock some of it down straight away, get in there. Honestly, I can't wait for it. At least I know kind of long term we're going to need a brand new training facility, but we need this short term because we need to attract the players. And really, I mean, wasn't Rafa painting the walls himself and stuff when he was there? I mean, that's appalling, isn't it? Like, could have just phoned me. I would have done it for him. You know what I mean?
Of course you would, yeah. Of
course I would, for free as well.
I know.
No, honestly, amazing to see, and I can't wait to see what it looks like when it's finished. And just even small improvements will do it until we can get a longer term, plan. Because looking at facilities such as Brighton and places like that, and it's going to take years for it to get up to there, but it's good to see.
Leicester City as well. They were Leicester's state of the art. Liverpool's just got a new one.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
We'll get there, lads. We'll get there.
4:49 just come in from Max Dawson. Thanks very much, Max. Can't we just stuff a load of cash in a brown envelope? 60 to 65 points next year. Who would be everyone's ideal signing? One name each. Listen, it's pointless going through ideal signings because it's not going to happen. Basically, we'll sign who we sign, and we're going to sign who Eddie Howe and Dan Ashworth feel that we need to sign. We could go on till the cows come home about who we'd love to sign. I mean, God, there's some tremendous players out there we'd love to be at Newcastle United, but it's simply not going to happen. We just have to wait and see. Dennis says, just seen a plane going over the house. Looks like it's come from France. Sorry, Paul, I couldn't resist. Tangy says, sensible business is what we want, not panic, ruthless business. PIF, we trust. We must trust. Slow build is required. It's going to be a roller coaster. Look, we know that. Jade, good evening, lads and lasses. When I get, it's me. That's what. Well, that's going. Oh dear me, who've we lost there? Nobody. What happened there?
Don't know.
It only happened to
That
you.
was a bit.
It's all good on our end.
That was a bit weird.
It might be the bat.
It could be. Good evening, lads and lasses. Finally made it past the restrictions. Dale says, how are our transfer targets being leaked? I'd much prefer signing out with the blue rather than project it. They're not being leaked. That's the thing.
I don't think they are being leaked.
They're really not being leaked.
Pretendedly, they are. Look, there's a bloke working at a multi-billion-pound company who's in the offices, just earwigging. And then the first thing he hears something, he runs down to Strawberry. Psst. You'll never guess. What is that? It don't happen at these multi-billion-pound conglomerates. It just doesn't happen. It's absolute bollocks, all of it.
Wilson's baffling how fans do not understand the pressure they put their own club in on transfers work against the club's process. We panic because we're so close to a top player, then all of a sudden PSG, etc. Yeah, but that's what Pete was saying. Get used to that because we're now shopping at the top table with these big teams. PSGs, the Milans of the world. We are up against them, not necessarily Manchester United because they're below us now. So,
obviously.
Yes, exactly, Danielle. So, I mean, Chris, it is what it is. We've got to accept that we're fighting these big teams now.
Yeah, and you know what? We're just happy to be at that table, aren't we? Because previously, as Pete said, we were kind of in the bargain basement, or as you said, Paul, pound stretcher, and we were panicking over whether we'd have enough money for it.
Other budget shops are available, by the way. Just to
yeah. But no, you're absolutely right in what you say. It's nice for us to be linked with these top players, and we're not going to get them all. It's like, prime example, the Darwin Núñez. Like it took me a good 24, 48 hours to get over that. But as soon as a club like Liverpool come in, you're done. That's it. But we move on, and we'll find somebody else, and it is what it is.
Yeah. Craig Johnson, thanks for your £10 super chat. It happens with all clubs with money. Sevilla are doing it with Chelsea over Koundé, Barca with United and De Jong. Them two idiots clubs in the past have just paid it. Now they're testing us.
I'm really sorry, but Man United have just been linked with Danny Ings today as well. I had to say that out loud into the universe because it's so funny. It's amazing.
Mawson, thank you very much for your Saudi Arabian Real. 100 of them. Thank you very much. Very kind of you, my man. Thank you so much for that.
Carl says,
me,
Alex.
Clearly. Billy Tree, has your house been covered by Birmingham's ash cloud?
No, I've managed to escape it somehow.
What's happening in Birmingham?
It's a pyre. It always has been.
Oh, okay. Has Danielle loaned Daz her top from last night?
Yeah.
No. The post isn't that good.
No, it's not that quick. Definitely not. Foxy says, personally, I don't want Botman. Ekitike, great potential, and I support whoever we sign. But it's been annoying hearing some say medicals for Botman on the same day he had an under-21 game. Daz Ekitike will not go to PSG just to sit on the bench behind Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar. We've Ricard Anderson, thank you for your 50 Swedish krona. He says, read something about Atalanta's Demiral. Who is it?
Yeah, Demiral.
He's on the list.
Okay, well, we'll come to him, Ricard. Stat or stats, please. He's on the list. And Zishan, thank you for another $17.99, my man. A question for everyone. Say if we did sign Ekitike, do you think we would still need another striker? If so, who would you like? Me personally, I would like Victor Osimhen. He scored another 4 goals in a single game for Nigeria. Yeah, he's on fire at the minute, but there's no links. There's no real links to him at all at the minute, so it's pointless. One final thing before we look at some players. Pete, I'm interested to get your thoughts on this. The debacle with Castore, and the pre-orders of the shirts. Obviously, people that are pre-ordering now are getting emails around 24 hours later saying that they've been refunded because they don't have enough stock.
Is that still happening?
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to have, a club, a sponsor that's making a shirt sponsor that's really just unprofessional, because that's what it is. It's unprofessional the way they're dealing with it. It's the reason why I haven't jumped on buying a shirt right now. There were lots of issues with it last season. It was never going to change. I remember me and Chris talking on away days to one of the Wolves podcasts, and obviously their Castore as well, and they had similar problems. So it's not just Newcastle. There's problems across the board with Castore. And this is why I didn't jump on it now, because everyone was going to jump on getting the top, pre-ordering. I'm going to wait until the season starts when it slows down a little bit, so it's likely to be less of a problem. However, we're just going to have to grin and bear it to get through the season, because there is no doubt, and there's already been murmurs of the fact that Nike and Adidas and some of the top kit designers are looking to get us back. So look, all I'll say to everyone that's having their frustrations, and Danielle and a few others have had problems with it, is just be patient, because the better we get, the better shirt designers are going to want to come and sign with us. So it's not going to last forever. That's just my little 2 pence on that.
Yeah.
Just on that then. So if they're refusing orders now, and up,
well, that's the problem, Daz. They're not.
They're allowed the orders.
Last time I checked, the website was still open for pre-orders, So everybody that's going on now is then receiving an email around 24 hours later saying they don't have enough stock, which is an absolute farce. This is a football club in the Premier League of one of the biggest leagues in the world, and Castore, I think they've only come to fruition because of Andy Murray and all, owning 30% of the stock level of the stock of Castore. So now, they failed, didn't they? 2 weeks ago when they said, or 3 weeks ago when they announced that the replica shirts were going on pre-order, and that was taken down 20 minutes later. Somebody made a monumental bollock up, and now they've done it again because they haven't got enough stock. I can't find it.
Andy Murray got injured today, so maybe he can go and sort that out himself and go and do some administrative work.
Does that mean, though, that there's going to be no stock in the club shop come release day?
Well, who knows? Unless they've kept stock back for that particular thing. They've kept a certain amount of stock back to go in the club shop and a certain amount for pre-orders on the internet. But they must have known, given the takeover and everything, and given that the fact that stupid number 4 has gone on the front of the shirt, that there would be a lot of demand for the shirt, surely. I don't understand. It's absolutely mental. One other thing has come out on social media. I don't know whether you've seen it, but the leaked fixtures for the start of the season.
It's another one.
Do we believe it, guys? Do we believe that we're playing Liverpool on the opening day?
No.
Same as last season, wasn't it?
Yeah, same thing happened. Mm-hmm.
I mean, look,
we've had West Ham first 2 seasons on the trot, haven't we? I think.
Yeah. But somebody must sit there with a computer-generated software and think, or go on their Football Manager or whatever it is and look at some opening fixtures in the Premier League and thought, I'll throw that onto social media because there will be people who believe it.
There's no way that Liverpool, they're going to, the fixture creators are going to allow Liverpool to play his first game of the season. There is no way, because it's not as cut and dry as what they'd want it. Normally in previous years, Liverpool will get a newly promoted side or a side that are lower down the league that they can get a nice, comfortable win against. There is no way that they're going to allow Liverpool to play every Joelinton Newcastle United with brand new signings. There's just no way. Yeah, no way.
I mean, Billy, they're not other. I mean, Liverpool will get. It's happened all the time with fixtures. Newcastle will not play Liverpool. I'll be staggered if we do.
No, they won't. For one reason, the TV companies like to have Newcastle and Liverpool on at some stage of the season. Doesn't matter when it is. But the first game of the season will be a massive watch for whoever's on. Yeah, so don't be surprised if it's Bournemouth versus whoever, West Ham or something. Don't be surprised. There won't be Liverpool, Newcastle, Liverpool, whichever way you look at it. You won't get a top 4 side playing with the top 4 side either. There'll be a nondescript set of fixtures, no doubt.
Yeah. George, thank you for your £5 super chat, buddy. He says, in a way, I preferred the old way of doing transfers when we only found out when the club announced a press conference and we had a new player. Yeah, back in the day, absolutely.
Yeah, you still had the rumors. Like I remember looking in the papers or in Shoot or Match magazine, you'd see the little rumor column and who's linked to here, and that's what I used to read the papers for.
Yeah,
exactly. Great.
Wow. Yeah, page number 330 was for the Premier League early doors. 331 was the latest scores for the Premier League. Oh God, sad bastard.
Phone lines.
Phone lines, yeah. Club call. Do you remember Club Call?
Yeah, Club Call, yeah.
Does anyone remember Bamboozle?
Yeah. I used to love Bamba.
Yeah. I can't remember the number though.
No.
Channel 4, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Billy, most of your overseas numbers went to, we'll not say live on.
Hey, I made a few signings up with one window. I'll tell you that.
I bet you did. Yeah, dirty bastard.
Wow.
Danielle, there's been a few people saying, on videos and sort of social media, like, who would you like for the first game of the season? Does it really matter? Because we're going to have to play everybody anyway. You want Man United, I know you do.
I do. I want to turn them over for the first of 2 times next season. That's who I want. I've got my fingers crossed for Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Come on, Old Trafford. Like, honestly.
That's a great shout.
Well, if they sign Danny Ings and they don't sign any centre-backs, then yeah, I'm on board with that.
Mark Goldbridge is going to have a coronary shortly. I mean, seriously. They're all over the place. And Danny Ings, I mean, if that's where they're heading, Listen, nothing against Danny Ings. He's a decent striker. But when Man United are claiming that they're going to, Ten Hag's going to come in and revolutionise the club, etc., is Danny Ings really that exciting signing that you want? I'm not so sure.
No.
Well,
Luke
Villa
says,
said they're keeping him.
yeah, exactly. Luke says Twitter is a load of bullshit. Elon Musk has just found out that Twitter, 20% of Twitter accounts are fake. Yeah. Well, that's up to him to do something about that. Oh God, the bloody comments have just jumped again. Never mind. Mr. Mohammed, good evening. We will get the world-class players. Dan Burn and Target were signed last day, and I'm happy to see the photos of the training ground. Definitely.
Absolutely.
100% would rather drop Botman interest if held to ransom over the price. If a player really wants to come, he will. Well, again,
I think they'll be exploring 2 or 3 deals per position for every kind of. I don't think it's a big deal. I think that's the way we'll be doing business from now on. We're not just going out for one particular target. It wasn't even that under Mike Ashley. Let's be honest, it was who could we get for the cheapest. But yeah, I'm not bothered at all. I think we'll have like 3 or 4 different irons in the fire. And it's not going to be all our eggs in one basket. So. I'm honestly not bothered about it. I think we'll get who we'll get. I'll trust them.
Yeah.
I've got a question. And it's related to what Billy was talking about, is the training ground. So the training ground, as we saw, the diggers are in and they started working. But will it be ready for them when they come back from? I know they have preseason games and they're going to have games at home as well.
They're due back soon, aren't they? 1st of July or something.
Where are they going to go? Where are they going to
train? St. James's, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they reseeded the grass there as well, didn't they? Is St. James's Park? So hopefully that's.
They've been watering that. They've had the lights on and everything on that since it got reseeded. Yeah. But listen, I'm Nick Gardner. I'm no sort of green fingers.
Same.
I don't know.
I'll call Dan Ashworth. He knows.
Yeah,
give him a call, Daz.
Give him a call. Right, Alex, you've got some. Who's your first player on the list? And listen, before I put this up, it better not be Ivan Toney or anybody like that.
No. We're keeping it just a smaller list today because of having more people on the show. So we're not linked with him right now. I'm just paying homage to the fact that we looked at this player when we were linked, because he is rumored via L'Equipe today that City are pretty much poised to. I think poised was the word they used in the paper. Poised to sign Isaac Toure, or Isak, if we want to be correct. So this is the kid that I said was the funny French Dan Burn, because he's like 6'7", nearly 6'8", absolutely enormous. Plays for Le Havre in Ligue 2. Only like 12 odd starts, I think it was. He's not played that much. Worth about 600,000-700,000 euros. So he was a long shot, but it's interesting the fact that City are interested in him. It means we were, even pre-Dan Ashworth, well, that is if Dan Ashworth wasn't doing things in his gardening leave, we were linked with players like this. Alex? Well, if we were linked with players that City are going for, we're obviously doing a reasonable job, like behind the scenes, regardless of who we sign. If we're coming up with similar names, it's interesting. So he's by the by. So the proper look is this man has been doing the rounds on social media, on websites, and newspapers. He after about 7 sources, I just stopped writing them down because he's been linked by a lot of people. So I don't know what the credibility is. This seems to have just come out of absolutely nowhere. There's a few people that reported it in January, reported a few links. So I don't know if anybody knows who this is, but we were linked with him a few years ago. When he was at Sassuolo, and he made a move to Juventus in 2019 in the summer, and we were linked with him in that summer. We were trying to get hold of him, and we failed, unfortunately. And he went to Juventus for like 18 million euros or something. So he's right-sided. So this is nothing to do with our whole young left-sided players. This is a right-sided centre back who is 24 years old, 6'3". Played Champions League, Europa League. He's got 35 caps for Turkey. He's a good player. Was on loan at Atalanta the season just gone. Had a few injuries, but not crazy amounts. I will just go over to his transfer, so his injury history. So he had a cruciate ligament a while ago, a few seasons ago, and since then it's just been minor knocks muscle issues, a bit of COVID, so it's nothing too serious. Doesn't seem like an issue. Statistically, very, very tidy. Absolute monster with defensive output. Monster. He's a mountain of a man. Just beats people off the ball, wins duels. He's a strong character. If people think about Chiellini and Bonucci, how arrogant and annoying they were to play against, this is that same guy. He's just a dick to play against. You don't want to play against him. He's annoying. He's going to be doing how Chris Wood got the stick for doing cat noises in Zuma's ear. He would do the same sort of stuff. That's this guy. He's a joker. But he's
a better sudden player than Chris Wood is, I know.
He is. He's also a baller. So passes doesn't look good, but when you compare it to Lascelles doing 29 attempted passes per 90, so he's passing nearly 9 or 10 times more per 90, and his completion rate is that. Although that doesn't look incredible, it's better than every single other centre back we have. 87% pass completion is better than all of our centre backs. So he's far, far tidier on the ball. He is a goal threat as well. 1 goal, 2 assists. He should have had 2 goals. He likes to have a bit of a shot. He's only 24 as well, so he's not old, and he is a very, very good shout. So what else did I have down? If I scroll down, look who's on his statistical similarities list. Dan Burns on his list, which is really cool to see. And everybody's favourite name from anybody who likes foreign football, Bremer, who everybody keeps talking about, is his closest statistical match, which is really interesting. So this guy's a beast. Is long pass completion as well, which we love. What we've always talked about is how Fabian Schär can do his long balls, and we need to. And when Lascelles comes on, he can't play the Schär role. He just can't do it. So hang on, Paul. Pop me up for 1 second.
Yep.
That there, pass completion rate for long balls. He can do what Schär does. He plays long balls. He's good at them. He's successful. So that is somebody who can play in the Schär position and do the same job. So I think it's a great shout. I don't know how much truth there is in any of it, but I think he's a cracking player. I'd 100% take him. So
like a backup for Lascelles, you're thinking there?
Sorry.
So what we're going to say, Daz?
Hang on. Daz, did you just say them words? A good backup for Lascelles?
Yeah, that's it. Like a replacement for Lascelles.
I was going to say, I'm glad Martin's not here. He'd be going nuts.
In my opinion, he goes straight into the starting lineup. If we sign him, he is a guaranteed starter now. Everything that Alex has just said, if anybody watched the Champions League last season, watch the game at Old Trafford when Atalanta play against Man United. He played for about 60-odd minutes with a pulled hamstring, and he was unbeatable.
He is a monster.
He was literally the best player on the pitch. And yes, Man United ended up winning the game late on. Ronaldo obviously got the winner, but that was when he was subbed off because he couldn't get. He literally his hamstring was hanging, and he couldn't run. But even then, he was just an absolute monster of a defender. He was labelled the replacement for Bonucci and Chiellini at Juventus, which Alex has just said. How true is this? For me, as a defender, with how good he's been at Atalanta, I'm surprised that even Juventus are considering selling him, considering the fact that Chiellini is now leaving and going to the MLS. He had pictures of him clearing out his locker at Juventus the other day. So for the fact that he's leaving and they're going to let him go, that shocks me. That surprises me a lot because at 24, 25 years old, he has got the rest of his career ahead of him. For me, and I saw a few tweets about this when the link price came about, is like a Botman and a Demiral centre-back pairing. That's a Champions League pairing.
It is.
That's a top 4 pairing in my eyes. There is not with games under their belt. There is no better centre back pairing that we could ask for as a club going into next season.
Demiral is used to playing in a dominant team as well because Atalanta, although they finished 8th, they averaged 55% possession. So he's used to being in a team that are good, which is what we're trying to work towards.
Yeah.
How much of a fee do you think he commands?
Not a lot. Not a lot. There was
You
talk
reckon?
about it being about 20 million.
Wow.
I didn't write down his how long's left on his contract. Let me just check. 2024, so two years, and it's like 25-ish million euros is the general reported price.
Yeah,
I tell you what, if
spot
we
on.
can get hit, if we could sign somebody like that for 20 million quid, that's a bargain. Billy, what's your thoughts on him?
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. Not seen much of him, but yeah, he's a domineering centre half, is what I can remember. Takes a lot to get him down. He's a hard centre half, isn't he? Takes no prisoners.
The fact that the word beast's associated with him, I'll take it. Absolutely.
Well, listen, if Alex starts saying a beast of a man and you know starts getting all erotic about the signing, you know he's a decent player.
Paul, if
question.
anybody kicks off in the middle of the park against us next season, and we've got Danburn, Joelinton, and Demiral running at them, they're going to wet themselves and run off the pitch. It's just no contest. There's going to be
Jack
memes
Grealish should
everywhere.
wet his little nappy. Go on, Daz.
Yeah, Alex, I think just something to work on maybe for the next player. If you could start stroking your beard when you're talking about them, that really works for Pete.
Yeah,
It does.
when Pete gets aroused, the beard gets stroked about a footballer. So, you know, it might be the same to do for you, Alex. It's getting quite bushy.
I accidentally shaved it a little bit too short this time, so it's not as nice to do the, you know. Got give me a couple of weeks.
The way Pete's going, I look like Santa Claus next month.
No
Glenn
chance.
Newhouse, thank you for becoming a new member or a returning member. Thank you anyway, my friend. Andy's asking the question that if teams are going to move goalposts all the time for prices, you know, do we draw a line with it and just walk away, Chris? What do you reckon?
I think we will. Like as I mentioned earlier, Paul. I think the owners will become more savvy to transfer negotiations. Obviously, that's why Dan Ashworth has been brought in for that expertise, which we've probably been lacking. And you know, big shout out again to the owners for what they did in January, because obviously that is something that they weren't used to. And when you look back at the players we brought in, it was absolutely fantastic. But the more that we go through this process, and the more that we become accustomed to the new pool that we're fighting in. I think we'll be on top of stuff like that, and I think it'll only be a matter of time before we end up getting the message out there that we're not here to be messed with, and we will have like a bottom line, and we'll say, listen, this is it now. We want to do the deal at this price, this time, yes or no, and that'll be it, and then we'll walk away. Because as Danielle said before, there will be a list of 3 or 4 players per position. That's how we will operate. And just to add as well. We've heard this word being used a lot, especially on Free Amigos, on NUFC Matters, and the word being used all the time, and I think we've mentioned it on here, is fluid. And I think that's what we're going to be throughout this transfer window. We've probably got ideal targets that we want, but then if there's a player becomes available who nobody anticipates or nobody was aware of, I think we move quickly and we'll go and get that player if we need to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
Tom's come up with the song, When You Want a New Top, but they don't have the stock, that's Castore. That's a good one, Tom. Nice one, buddy.
How do we really know, though, that the price has changed, the goalposts have changed? And I know it was reported today, but like it's the same situation with the amount of players that we get linked with. Was it Luke Edwards that said? How do we know it's not bullshit?
But no, this is it.
I love the way he says that. Bullshit.
Ekitike.
Hey, exactly. Wow. Keith Lee, thank you for your 5. What is SGD? Does anyone know what currency that is?
Singapore dollars?
Yeah,
Singapore could well be. Keith, thank you very much. It's 5 anyway, but thank you. It's every day now with advanced talks, breakthrough, getting close. Favor to move, etc. These headlines are getting boring. Yep, absolutely. Dave says, have Castore bitten off more than they can chew? As I've noticed, they make England cricket shirts and they've signed up to provide Scarlets with their shirts. Yeah, and
And Villa, yeah.
Apparently Rangers fans have been kicking off about Castore as well. So, who do they provide the Premier? It's Wolves and Villa as well, don't they? They've just signed a deal with Villa.
Emails. I don't care about Rangers.
You mentioned that a few times, Alex. I mean, you seem
really
to get very
annoys you, that,
hot-headed.
Alex, doesn't it?
Every day I
does.
get Rangers emails. It's so annoying. I signed up to the email links in the NUFC club shop. I shouldn't be getting emails about Rangers kits. It's ridiculous.
Alex's little corner rant, which is basically every show now, regarding Rangers Football Club. I do apologise. Danielle, I mean, I know you feel very strongly about the transfer window, as that was proved in January when you went quite passionately about Manchester United, and still haven't forgiven them to this day.
No.
If teams are gonna, or clubs are gonna, put on this, what people are now calling the Newcastle tax, how patient are the new owners going to be, or do you think they'll just say, "Look, there's your final offer, take it or leave it, we'll go elsewhere"?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they'll do. Otherwise, you get a reputation in terms of, just if Newcastle come knock and stick another 10 or 15 or 20 million on the price because they'll pay it, that's stupid. We need to not be associated with that at all. And we need to be ruthless and say, guess what? See you later, we'll move on. Next, and continue doing that until we're kind of, people know and it's out there that we're not going to be messed with. But I've got no worries about that because they're good business people. So I think they know very well from January what certain teams and what certain agents and etc. are all about and what it's all about. So I've got no concern over that. Like, I'm totally chilled. Like I've said, I'm buzzing. Can't wait.
Yeah, Billy, do you take that stance just sort of firm?
Absolutely, you've got to. I mean, Lille did the same in January. Let's be honest.
Well, it did.
Exactly the same in January.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
And I think
you did the same as well.
Yeah, so I don't think they'll be allowed to do it this time as much. I think if they could even walk away now, honestly, believe they could. And I think they wouldn't be against it.
I think they showed in January as well with Seville and Diego Carlos that they weren't good, because that if you remember that time it was always going up every couple of days. The price was going up, and it came to a stage where for a 28-year-old at the time, you're looking at 40 something million. It's never worth it.
They knew we were desperate, but we weren't that desperate.
Yeah, exactly.
Scotty says, always great to see you all together. Two fantastic channels. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Cheers, Scotty. Very kind of you. We've got almost 1,000 people watching at the minute, guys, which is, again, absolutely fantastic stuff. If you're new to the channel, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, which lets you know when we upload or go live. And, of course, to subscribe to Loaded Mag NUFC as well. Another fantastic channel, proud to be in collaboration with the lads. So their link to their channel is down in the description below. Go and give them a subscription as well, because they deserve to be a lot higher than they are, because they keep it real, guys. In the words of John Sinclair, they keep it real. And also, obviously, our website is open where you can grab these.
So let's get down to business. I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me if you like it. Tell me if you like it now. I've been waiting, think I'm gonna make that move now. Baby, tell me how you like it. Let's get down to business.
So there you go, guys. Toonreview.co.uk.
I like that.
Get yourselves over there and get yourselves a mug. You can, I believe, Loaded also have merchandise that's available if you want to give them a shout out.
Yeah, well, we have a hat available on 1881, and the profits for that hat go. What are you laughing at, Chris?
That's a cool video, and it's like, we've got a hat. Yeah,
we got a hat. Yeah. Well, but the profits from that hat go towards the food bank, so we don't
exactly.
There, so that's all for good cause. We have something coming though pretty soon.
Me too.
And our friend Simon, who we mentioned again in the chat, has something up his sleeve, let's say. So that will be coming in the next week and a half, I'd say.
Brilliant.
And just to the people that have been asking for pint glasses, etc. Susan's been working very, very hard behind the scenes trying to find a supplier for these and a printer for them. We are looking at bottle openers, key rings, all sorts of stuff as well. We're still waiting for manufacturers to get back to us. These things take time, unfortunately. But there you go. And to my friend,
story, is it, Paul?
It's definitely not the story, mate. I can 100% guarantee you, buddy, that's not the case. To my friend who put a lovely comment on the other day complaining that I was advertising the mugs, I do apologise for trying to make a living. Honestly, some people's comments just blow my mind sometimes. And I think I advertised them twice on the last show, and apparently that was too much for someone. So I really do apologise for trying to make a living. If you don't like it, bugger off and take your face for a shite, quite honestly. But there you go. Alex, next player.
Next player is the magical Middelfart
Aw.
midfield maestro that we all love, Mr.
I love
Eriksen
him.
from Middelfart, Denmark. Have I said Middelfart enough times? He's from Middelfart.
Once or twice, mate. Yeah.
So I want to have a look at him again because his name's there constantly. He's not confirmed for anybody yet. He's still available. He's actually playing right now as we speak. Denmark are 2-0 up in Copenhagen against Austria. Austria, funnily enough, playing Sasha Kalajic up front, who's the lanky Austrian Peter Crouch that we looked at last time the Loaded lads were on. So he is still available. The last time we checked him out, he was only about 500 or 600 minutes. So we've got more minutes now. So his stats make more sense and are a bit more accurate because we've got more to play with. So he had a very, very good end to the season with Brentford. Very, very influential. Obviously, he'd got... oh, God, his name escapes me. Who's the midfielder who's an absolute monster for Brentford? Is it Van somebody guard? Oh, he's an absolute tank with all the highest tackles in the league.
Norgard,
that's the one. Yeah, absolute beast. So Eriksen had a bit more of a free role because he got a bit of protection. 4 assists, 1 goal from 900 minutes. I think he only started 10 of those 11 appearances. And if we scroll down, this is what we want from him. He's 30. He's not going to play 40 matches in a season, but we don't need him to. We need him to do that. We need him to do 6 progressive passes per game and 5 progressive carries. We need a talented midfielder who can progress the ball either with his own feet or by passing it. And he can do that. And he's ridiculous. He's nearly 61 attempted passes for Brentford. For Brentford. This is like when you take a top player and put them in a bottom 5 side in FIFA. It's just an experiment. That he's just pumped out stupid numbers essentially. I mean, Brentford obviously done very well this season, but it's outrageous how effective he was. Just for context, if I go to his SofaScore and I swap this to Premier League, look at those ratings for the back end of the season. That's outrageous. It's nothing lower than a 7. And when SofaScore says you're both footed, you're both footed. That's very, very good. So yeah, assist. Just, and he's not playing against bad teams either. Southampton, a high pressing team, they beat them 3-0. Again, he's still got a 7.7 in a 3-0 defeat to Manchester United. So he's still putting up outrageous numbers. And he's just somebody that we absolutely need. He's free, and he's bonkers. He's absolutely bonkers. If we go back to his stats, so people can actually see, it's just the fact. I'm not going to oversell it. He progresses the ball via dribbling or passing. He's neat and tidy. He's very proven in the Premier League. People maybe question his time at Inter. Whatever. He's come back and he's done it for Brentford. He's definitely still good enough. It's fine. And he's free. Yep. And he's from Middelfart. Like,
you didn't mention that, Alex.
Yesterday.
Sell him to us, Alex. Sell him.
If we can't get Paqueta, we have to get Eriksen, in my opinion. We have to try. I can see that we're trying. There's apparently a few clubs in the mix, but it's just a no-brainer to try because he's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason says, I stubbed my toe today and the pain. Then I remembered that Man United are really shite and all was well with the world.
Well said, Jason.
Peach blown is no. So, Chris, I'll ask you, Eriksen.
Yeah, do you know what? I was literally just going to say then, I suppose, not a concern, but the only thing that I would ask of all of you is that obviously if we were to carry on playing next season how we've done last season, so in terms of that deep lying player, and then we have the 2 more forward central midfielders, do you think we'd have to swap up the way we play? Because I'm thinking with, obviously we had Joelinton on the left-hand side of the central midfield, and then we had either Bruno or we had Willich. We had a lot of legs. And from those stats, Alex, tell me if I'm wrong, but certainly from the, moving about kind of thing, Eriksen's not about that. Like he's literally, very clever on the ball, very intelligent, but you're not going to get the legs from him. I mean, would that be a concern for anybody, or is that just me?
It's the same as what Paqueta's producing, to be fair, because Paqueta releases the ball very early in the way he plays for Lyon. He passes early or he just lets the ball go really early. We actually looked at him the other day and we saw that his key passes and certain passes into the final third or into the penalty area are actually all really low because he starts the move off for a few yards and then it's gone. he doesn't mess about because he's got quality, and this is the same with Eriksen. And he does get 5 progressive carries per 90. He can carry the ball forward. I agree. We do need balance. So if we're going to play that player, we do need a Joelinton or a destroyer. We do need it. I mean, Bruno, in a way, despite his size, is still like a little terrier rat. He just nibbles at everybody. It's fine. He would just play in front of Willock and just be another forward 8, I would imagine. I don't think it'd be too much of a problem.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Feels okay, though.
Danielle, I know you're a big fan of Eriksen, not just for his football, but for what he's come back from, same as me, really.
He's a warrior.
Could you see him playing under Eddie Howe?
Absolutely. I would be absolutely over the moon if we signed Christian Eriksen. I think he's the right kind of player, not just because of how he plays, but kind of his attitude, the kind of player that we're looking for, and that's going to be really, really important this window. What we don't want is have a dressing room like Man United, full of players who think they can boss the place. That's not what we need.
Yeah.
We need a nice, balanced dressing room, and I think he would fit into it perfectly. I really, really hope that he's going to be one of the surprise signings and that he does sign, because I think what an addition he would be to our team.
Well, Eddie's already said that, hasn't he? He doesn't want to bring anybody in that's going to disrupt the dressing room, Billy.
And we'll have to send Pete in then, won't we? He can have one of his rants.
Yeah. It's imperative, Billy, that good feel factor doesn't sort of get messed around with any new signings. They have to buy into it.
Yeah, and Christian Eriksen's the perfect professional, isn't he? I mean, what he's come back from, for starters, just shows how much of a professional the man is. I wasn't for him signing in January. I didn't think he'd be available quick enough for us. We were desperate at that time, but now we're not desperate. Absolutely get him in, because he's a really clever player, a world-class number 8, really good player, and yeah, it did improve our side tenfold. Great player.
Scotty's saying if the training ground isn't ready, then happily seeing them back at Durham at Maiden Castle. Yeah, listen, Maiden Castle is a lot has changed at Maiden Castle. Obviously, my neck of the woods, a lot has changed. It's been redeveloped. It is an absolutely fantastic facility, and I'm sure that if it's not ready, which I'm sure it will be, the pitches aren't really getting any change around or anything like that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens come pre-season where they are, but there is other options, obviously. So Seattle Geordie says they can change it to Northumberland Baths. Oh dear. Imagine an 8 p.m. kickoff under the lights for the first game of the season. You've got to love that. Daz, how are you feeling about Eriksen?
Yeah, look, okay. In January, I wanted him. I also loved him as a player. Then at the time I heard the rumors first, I was like, I'm not so sure now with his age and everything like that. But then he convinced me that being a squad player and just kind of different options off the bench or like rotation as well, he would be someone good to bring in. But as I said at a couple about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I said Lucas Paqueta was the one I wanted to just see coming in. So I was kind of have my heart set on him coming in, and then I thought, can the two of them come in then? But yeah, there's a bench, but it's not. I can't see us bringing in 2 players in that kind of position. But yeah, I'd definitely take him. And he offer us something. But not. Look, I would have been going mental about him if it was 5 years ago, because he was absolutely unreal then.
Yeah. Pete?
Christian Eriksen is the reason why, in my opinion, the Paqueta deal hasn't gone through yet.
Hang on a minute. Ooh. Interesting theory.
Look, Alex has talked about both of those as players, Paqueta and Eriksen. They're not exactly the same type of players. Paqueta can play as a false 9 or play in that 8 role. Eriksen can play the 8 role and a little bit deeper as well. So they would complement each other really well, but they are similar in some areas. For me, if you've got an option of getting Christian Eriksen on a free or paying 50-odd million for Paqueta, I can completely understand why Newcastle United would go and try and get Christian Eriksen for free. And if they do that, then Paqueta won't come this season, in my opinion, because they'll have got exactly what they wanted for nothing. In the way in which he plays, is exactly the way in which Eddie Howe wants to play in this Newcastle team. Now, it's interesting, we talked about the likes of Willett and Joelinton. For me, I think both of those players will struggle to get into the team next season if someone like Christian Eriksen comes into the team. Neither of those would be guarantees. I think Willett would find it very difficult. I think Sean Longstaff would find it very difficult. Maybe Joelinton, the least, would find it difficult, but it wouldn't be guaranteed that he'd be starting every week, because what we would then become is a possession-based team. You think about Bruno Guimaraes and the way he controls possession, the way he dominates possession. I've watched him the whole of the last 6 months he's been at the club. You cannot get the ball off him. Me and Chris were at Tottenham away, and the one thing we said to each other when we were standing next to each other is when he came on as a sub, even though Tottenham were 4-1 up at the time, you couldn't get the ball off him. They were kicking him, pushing him. They were doing everything to get the ball off him, and they couldn't do it. You'd have two midfielders that could do that. You cannot get the ball off Christian Eriksen because he's fantastic with the ball at his feet. And we then become a possession-based footballing team. You'd see our possession stats go up on the back of that. You'd see our chances created come off the back of that. Someone like Callum Wilson would be rubbing his hands together with Christian Eriksen and the likes of Bruno Guimaraes in our midfield, because you've got chances that were going to be created.
I'd be fine with Chris Wood if he's getting that many chances. It's still be insane.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I was surprised about with Christian Eriksen at Brentford for how well he did, and we were very lucky to play them when we did, because he made his first appearance for them off the bench. Looked really good that game.
That was his only off the bench appearance as well. He started every other bloody game. We got quite lucky.
And then after that, he blew him out of the water. But the one thing that surprised me about Christian Eriksen, he did this a number of times, but the Chelsea away game was the key in which he scored from it. Is those big, long, darting runs, those Bruno Guimaraes type runs. The goal that Bruno Guimaraes scored against Leicester at home, he made that type of run. And that really surprised me, because I didn't think he would be, not that he didn't have it in his locker, but that he would actually make that type of run. That 60-yard dash when I think Tony broke free on the left, played the ball into him and he stuck it home. He's got that in his locker too. He's literally the full package.
Yeah.
If we went and said, right, 150 grand a week, come and play for Newcastle United, be part of this project, I'd say, you know what? That is great business by Newcastle United. Get it done. And there's been rumours that potentially is on the cards. And that, I think I read today, and I can't remember who said it, but someone had said that Christian Eriksen's told Brentford that he's leaving the club. So he could well be on the move. Now, who that's to, whether it's Man U, Spurs, Newcastle, whoever, I don't know.
Better not be Man U.
But just to add into that, just to add into that, I know you mentioned that if Christian Eriksen was to come in, you'd say Christian Eriksen and Bruno would be starting. And let's say we kept with the same three, so we had one deeper line and then the two in front, which you could assume would be Bruno Guimaraes and Christian Eriksen. Do you think there's a possibility that Joelinton could be that new holding player? I mean, my only problem with Joelinton, and I'm not saying, I say problem, that's probably a too harsh a word, but as we all know, bar the odd game, when Joelinton goes forward, he does sometimes tend to panic and is a bit of snapshot. And hopefully during the summer we'll see that Eddie Howe will be working on that. And obviously, there was one particular game, I can't think who was against, and he scored two great goals and he showed a lot of composure. But do you think that Norwich, there you go, yeah, nice one, Alex. Do you think that there's a possibility that Joe becomes that midfield enforcer, so that person who is just there just to basically break up the play, make sure no one goes past him, and just defend, and protect our back four? Do you think Joe could be the deep line player, and then you just let Bruno and Eriksen just push forwards and just let them get on with the ball playing?
I think if we've all watched Joelinton in his transition from striker to left wing to centre midfielder, there's no reason why he can't transition back one step and be a defensive midfielder in almost like a Mo Diarme type role.
And just give the ball, win it and give it.
The Mo Diarme,
he'll have to learn a bit. I don't think he's ready for that right now. He does need to add a few skill sets. But Shelby's job is very underrated in terms of how he shields positioning, awareness, where his centre backs are. Joelinton's never had to do that. He's never had to organise and orchestrate and anticipate He's just a monster. So I'm not saying he can't do it. I think he probably can.
No.
But I think he's got to learn those skills. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think he's there right now to play where Shelby plays.
But if you look at November, nobody would have said he'd been able to play centre midfield.
Well,
And-
exactly.
And he learnt that role. And you're right.
He's still 25, right?
He's not going to get it straight away. But I think playing, and look, he's not going to play that deep role all season. If he was to transition into there, I think there'd be a lot of games where he'd play in the position he's been fantastic in this season. Is the one of those attacking three of that midfield, in those two that like to press forward, because he's a great presser of the ball. But there's no reason why he can't transition into that deep line midfield.
That would make him the new Alan Smith then, right? He's gone from number 9 to DM.
He's miles better than Alan Smith in that role, 100%. But what and I talked about this on our reaction show. I think was it the reaction show or maybe afterwards, against Burnley away. In that, what we actually found from our midfield, if you watch Burnley away again and you watch our midfield, we had Longstaff, we had Miggy when Joelinton went off, and we had Bruno, and it was very fluid. There was never one distinctive defensive midfielder. In particular, Longstaff and Bruno were fluid in their movement. And it could well be the same again. It could well be that there's times next season during the game that Joelinton is the defensive midfielder, but it might switch. And it might
Eddie's
be
total
Bruno.
football.
Yeah, exactly. And that is what Eddie Howe wants. He wants total football, but he wants it in a controlled manner. Which for us, if he nails that, we fly up the table. But equally, we're gonna fucking enjoy watching Newcastle United next season.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it.
Well, we've got a poll running at the minute out there for you viewers. Who would you rather sign, Ericsson or Paqueta? That poll is now open, so we'll leave that open for a while and we'll go back to it shortly.
Toon polls on it? Did you put them on it?
Sorry?
CC.
I'm not sure he's YouTube polls. I think it's just Twitter polls, unless he expands into YouTube
This is just a YouTube poll,
yeah. I don't want people getting any stick for not putting them in it, because I know what they're like. So
when I said a poll, Paul, sorry, I should have explained stuff. I meant around the house here.
No. You see, we do poll for the viewers now as well. You see,
see,
get the feedback from them.
Fancy shit.
Yeah, you know, we're up market on the Toon review. You know, Daz.
We're in the Premier League here now.
Absolutely. John says Ericsson would be quality addition. Also, would definitely suit the black and white rather than the red and white shit, no matter what club you play for. Morgul says, I'm sure there's an interview with Eddie where he mentions the training ground, and he said even if the work isn't complete, it doesn't affect the pitches, so training would still be at the ground. Interesting. We'll see. Oh God, these bloody comments. StreamYard, get your act together, man, for God's sake. Larry says, I don't think Joelinton would benefit that much being a traditional DM. He's got a lot to his game. Daz says, that's why we need Sangare in. Novik says, I have friends who are all thinking, even now, that we will finish 4th next season. They're all Chelsea fans. Oh, Christ almighty. Listen, this is what I mean by unnecessary pressure. You know, it's madness. Alex, one more player. Milinkovic-Savic.
Yeah, he's been linked.
Yeah, so reluctant to do this one, but he's been linked a lot. I don't know about this one. I don't know how much truth there is. Personally, I think this is a very low chance, but his name's popped up. And I mean, he's a beast. I think he's, at the moment, I think he is too good for us. I think he could walk into a team that's going to win a trophy next year, and we're not that team right now. We're not going to win a league title right now. And I think he's good enough to walk into most clubs in most leagues and just lift a trophy, because he's absolutely ridiculous. 3,100 minutes in Serie A with 11 goals, 10 assists, which is outrageous. He, season after season, beats his XG and his XA because he is just quality. We talk about players who are able to consistently break the expected goals model are just really good, because the model can't track it because they just score from outrageous positions. So he is 27 now, so he is absolutely bang on the money peak age at 6'3". I didn't know he was actually born in Spain. I figured that out when I was doing my research today, so that's quite interesting. I've always thought he was just
the Spanish flag gives it away, Alex.
Well, yeah, that's when I noticed when I looked at him on here today. So if I scroll down, there's a lot of green.
Wow.
There's a lot of green.
Jesus.
There's a lot of green. So,
Bloody hell.
I mean, he's quite capable of carrying the ball and pinging the ball forwards, but he's also capable of standing there and receiving progressive passes like high up, and touches in the attacking penalty area. It's just ridiculous. Some of the stats that we want are there. Nearly 68 passes attempted per 90 is ridiculous. The goal and assist output is ridiculous. The aerials is incredible for midfield as well. It would be somebody that could play on the right side of midfield, that can do what Joelinton does in terms of put himself about physically with his aerial duels. Lazio average around 55.5% possession, so they are a dominant, strong team. Finished 5th in Serie A, so he's used to winning. He's used to playing European football. I don't want to breathe too much life into this because I think this is a FIFA transfer. The man is outrageously talented, and I think this window is a window too early for a player like this, in my opinion. But we got Bruno and we got Trippier in, so you can never say never. But I personally, I feel this guy could walk in and win a league title in a lot of countries. He's that good. I think he's incredible. So if there's any truth, wow.
What's the market value, Alex?
Again, I was just going to ask that. Yeah.
Well, that is a great question. We can
him.
have a look. You're going to make me type in link.
In addition to that, Alex, what's left on his contract?
Well, it will tell me here as well. Oh, there we go. I was right.
That's Mitrovic.
Don't mention Mitrovic to Alex. He gets very angry.
2 years left on his contract with estimated 70 million euros, which is
that's been his biggest problem.
That's a bonkers price for 2 years.
Yeah. But so many teams have been after him for the last 2 years, but because of how big his contract was,
was he on a 6 year or something? Wasn't he something stupid?
He was on a big contract. It was either 5 or 6 years, and the teams were getting quoted because I know Man United a couple of years ago was seriously linked with him. But they were being quoted 110, 120 million.
Yeah, he was the new Man United link. Like, if we go back in history, we had Schweinsteiger was linked with Man United all the time, never went. Schneider was linked, never went. And then we had Ericsson was linked, never went. He went to Spurs. And now this is the new Man United. Were always linked, but never got him. This is that kid. This is the new one on the block. This is
all because of the money there. All because of the big money. Is that he's been doing it in Italy, but for that amount of price, people didn't want to take the risk. But you can imagine, even if he doesn't go this summer and he goes down to 1 year left on his contract, that will significantly drop, and then there's a chance for everybody.
Yeah, if he stays at Lazio for another year and we have a good season, then next summer, interesting.
We have the same problem with Jacob Murphy and his big contract, I guess.
Yeah. Exactly the same type of player we're talking about, Daz, without a shadow of a doubt. Schweinsteiger did go to Man United. A lot of comments are coming in.
Eventually.
I meant in his peak.
In his prime, yeah. He was past
well.
when he went to Man United.
Yeah.
He didn't come to us, did he? James Milner buggered off to Villa.
Yeah. What about you, Danielle? Are you Milinkovic Savic, or is it too much of a big name to say week in, week out?
Well, I'll have to give him a nickname, wouldn't I? I mean, let's be honest, I can't say his
Millie.
name. Okay. Yeah, Millie. Yeah, I think I'd love to have him, but I don't know if it's just a little bit too soon for us at the moment.
You know his nickname would be, don't you? SMS. I've got a text.
Oh,
God.
Oh, didn't say that to Daz.
Oh, you had to say that, didn't you, Billy?
If Daz had a beard, instead of a ridiculous Bobby Charlton comb over, he'd be stroking it now. But there you go. Billy, what about you? Does he look like a player? Because what I'm thinking is, if his market value is 70 million, if we went in for him, he's going to cost a lot more than that.
I'm sure Lazio would want to bid him war over this kind of player because he's an awesome player. And I think he'd go for 30, 40 million on top of that even now. that's what they'd want from it, I guess, even though his value is less than that. But a bidding war was just exactly what they'd want if they have to sell him.
Yeah,
I guess they do. And I think he'd go to a Champions League club anyway. He's too big a name in more than one way.
Jules says, can't players be called Dave Smith? I can say that.
Amen, Jules.
I know there's been some crazy names.
I've seen a comments as well, Paul. I think it was yesterday when the link first appeared, and they were saying, like, I think someone said, "Me kid can forget about getting that name on the back of the shirt." Imagine how much that cost.
Aye, with Castoria's prices, Jesus Christ!
You have to wait till next season to get it.
Do they still charge that for each individual letter? I thought it was just a standard price for the name now.
I don't know.
They used to charge the letter, didn't they? They used to.
Yeah, but if they see Milinkovic Savage come in, Pete, that'll soon change again.
My lad used to get barred. That was it.
I'm not sure what they actually put on his shirt when he plays for Lazio. I'll have to have a look.
£5 a letter it'll go up to, or £10 a letter. They'll think cheer freaking ching. Here we go. Mind you, they'll not have the shirts available to put the sudden names on, but never mind. It is what it is.
Not on the size anyway.
Yeah, Daz, what do you reckon for him?
Yeah, no, I don't think he's going to come. I don't know an awful lot about him at all, but no, can't see him rocking up. I saw his name linked today, but no, not going to happen. I'd rather see Paqueta, as I give him a thumbs up there in the poll. But yeah, no.
Well, let's take a look at the poll. Very interesting. 76% would rather see Paqueta than Ericsson.
I don't think that's a surprise. I really don't.
That's nearly 250 votes. We'll leave it open for another 5 minutes or so while we'll leave it open until the end of the show, I guess.
Ericsson's free. Why not both? We're going to use rotation.
Yeah,
some people have said that. Yeah, some people have said that. Devon says, I paid £80 for last season's one with Maxi on the back, so it's expensive. Yeah, so the 65 plus the money to get the name on. I mean, listen, it's ridiculous either way you look.
Well, I do have a piece of information that might be worth throwing out there as well. It's just paper talk, but Core Sport have reported that AC Milan have looked into Asensio from Real Madrid. Apparently, Maldini's asked Ancelotti to greenlight it, according to Core Sport, not me, and that it's around 30 million euros. So that obviously, everything that AC Milan do this window affects us in theory because of Paqueta's sell-on clause and because of Botman and the competition. Yeah. So it's kind of also necessary to have a little look at what they're doing. So if they're going to splash out 30 million on Asensio, that we can put our foot on the throat and go a little bit harder with transfers because we've got more money. So
they can't afford him. They can't afford him.
No, they can't.
They can't afford Botman. With the players that they want, the players that they want to bring in this summer, including Asensio, they cannot afford to go any higher than they've already bidded for Sven Botman. So it's Lille playing hardball with Newcastle, trying to get every ounce of money out of as possible. And it's whether we can hold our ground and say, you know what, you agreed 30 million, you pay 30 million. Yeah, and that will send shockwaves through the rest of the other clubs.
Thanks for hitting your mic there, Peter. Went right through my eardrums there. I get how you're feeling about that.
Comedy
Judge
story.
Rinder there. Thanks, mate.
I mean it.
I can tell.
That's to all of those Italians watching this show tonight. That's for you Milan fans.
Hey, right. Oh, whoa, hang on. You can't come on this channel starting wars with different countries. That's not allowed on this channel.
That's your job. I can and I will. And I'll do it again on the Full Early Transfer Show. I don't care. Those Milan fans and those Milan journalists are causing problems in our
the Milan journalists,
and I won't accept it. I won't have it.
I won't accept it.
So, Paul, can I just give you the comedy transfer as well? The Independent also have said, this is the Independent, by the way. The Independent have said that Arsenal are prepared to spend 100 million on Nkunku.
Oh, wait,
on one player.
Oh, whatever.
This is from a national newspaper, so people making fun of Twitter. That's from a national newspaper.
Ian Toon Trader says, eat local made natural honey, Pete, and that gives you immunity from the pollen, apparently.
I'm trying. I've tried it. I'm on like the highest medication I could possibly have.
Have you tried Vaseline in your nose?
I have to take it all year round, every day of my life.
Let's not mention Vaseline in this year.
You're Lucky Martin isn't here.
Absolutely, I know.
You got to wash the beard when you come back in. It honestly helps.
I do. I've even got hay fever wipes, which are an absolute
didn't know they
godsend,
existed.
but
Wow.
because of the countries suffering with massive pollen over the next few days, even these don't do anything. And these are usually like legends. But
yeah. Well, I tell you what. Speaking of beards and that, I'm shaving off. I'm going for the Top Gun look tomorrow. Me new aviators are coming, and I'm going to do that TikTok trend and shave the beard off and have the tash, just for a laugh. Susan's doesn't think I'll do it, but yeah.
No, you'll 100% do it.
Oh, of course I will. You know for a fact
After
I
the
will.
whole these teeth incident, you definitely will.
Well, listen,
Magnum
the
PI
Chinese teeth.
look.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Magnum PI look.
Yes. Well, the Chinese teeth didn't go very well. Well, I have ordered something else to try from China for me.
Oh God.
Well, I've actually got them. I just haven't used them yet because I'm very wary about pulling the rest of them out. But we'll see what happens with that. But finally, just to get your guys' quick thoughts on this, the FA and, of course, Gareth Southgate asking the Premier League to give the Big Six, well, the way I read it was a lot easier fixtures just before the World Cup. Danielle, what do you make of that?
Cartel-like behaviour once again. How many times do I have to sue them before they get it through their thick skulls? Like, and who are they calling little teams as well? They're going to give them little games. What like Newcastle United? Is that honestly, like, don't get us started on them. I'm absolutely fed up with that crap from the top six. Ugh.
I should have mentioned this at the start of the show. Danielle's going to go away and smash Lee in the face just to get her anger out.
That's how I nearly broke my nose downstairs. We were wrestling in the kitchen, but hey ho.
What you do in your private time, Danielle, with Lee is entirely private and will stay that way. You know, people are going to start thinking you got the jelly and custard out and stuff like that.
No, there was none of that. We're just waiting for what
fresh cream strawberries, you know, fridge door wide open. Julie says, my client will not be suing anybody. Yes, exactly.
Thanks, Jules.
I'm getting a lot of people saying, you know, 80s porn tash and stuff like that. It won't look like that at all.
Isn't that what Magnum PI is?
What about Willie Thorne?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You what, Billy?
Willie Thorne.
You cheeky bastard. How old do you think I am? Absolute shocking comment to make.
Just an interesting stat as well that 5 of the starting lineup against Italy were not in the Big Six. Tomori, Trippier, Rice, Ward-Prowse, Abraham. So
yeah,
it's the Big
exactly.
Six. FA, stop picking Cody and people like that. If you're only going to pick Big Six in tournaments, what's the point?
Notice I'm not reacting to that comment. Gary, thank you very much for your £5 super chat. He says we still want the TikTok clown shirt, Paul. No. No, because I still haven't forgiven Daz for that, and I am working on something myself for the next time.
Hang on, we'll write something down. So level 2, Magnum PI special.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. John says, Tash in a leather jacket off to the Blue Oyster with you, Paul. The Blue Oyster. Jesus Christ. Yeah, anybody else's thoughts on what the FA and Southgate have asked? Is it just typical?
How do I know who'd be the top 6?
Well, who knows who'll be top 6 by the time the World Cup kicks off? That's the thing.
Yeah, but we know what they're talking about. The top 6 aren't they? The same top 6.
The big 6, I think they're talking about. Yeah, not necessarily not necessarily the top 6.
It doesn't make sense though, because his favourite midfield, Rice and Phillips, are not Big 6. Pickford, his favourite goalkeeper, is not Big 6. This just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't, considering who he picks, it just doesn't make sense at all.
But it tells you manipulated fixtures. That's what it tells you.
By the looks of it, his left back isn't top 6 either, because he's playing Kevin Trippier left back.
Yep. Exactly, but Southgate, the most negative manager since Steve Bruce.
He won La Liga. I mean, yeah, he's probably
should
be.
Chippers says Paul's doing a Glenn Hughes off the Village people. No, Chippers, I'm thinking more of Freddie Mercury myself, but you know,
Mamma mia!
Can't believe Chippers knows the bloke's name.
I know, I'm astounded by that. Glenn says Paul, get a puppet dog and call it Spit.
Oh my God, Bob Carroll cheese.
Yeah. It's a me, Mario. Oops, it's Paul. Oh, here we go. They're all coming in now, aren't they? Roy says, Paul Ron Jeremy springs to mind.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That is below the belt.
Ron Jeremy, we're literally all below the belt.
That's true. That's true. Listen, we've come to the end of the show, guys. As expected, been a fantastic show. Lots of talk about players, but of course, we ain't saying anybody that we've mentioned tonight is going to sign. Hopefully, it happens. Hopefully, we get some signings in the next week or so. Something positive to talk about, and instead of just all these rumors and stuff like that. Listen, you can all piss off with your comments, right? It's getting outrageous. Look at this, man. Grow your own hair, Paul. Old Mickey Quinn look. Even Susan's chipping in. To me, to you. I'm not a fucking chuckle brother, and my own fiancé saying that. I'll take bloody high offence to that. Right, we had now divorced before we're even married with a comment to me, to you. To me, to you. Jesus Christ. Jeremy Sodden Beadle.
Yes. Yes.
God.
Beadle. Yes.
I mean, you know what? I'm trying to do something for a laugh here, and I'm just getting abuse. And it's unfair abuse. It's all your fault, Daz. I don't know why, but it just is.
Daz Beadle. Next show, Beadle.
No.
Beadle's about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I have both my fingers. I have my fingers and thumbs, so I can't be Beadle. Yeah. So, thank you everybody for watching. I'm sorry to every other country that we've upset again tonight on this channel. That's probably now at least 15 different countries that we have offended. I do apologize for that. But you know, hashtag Spanishness, hashtag Frenchness, hashtag Chinese, or whatever it may be. We do apologize. But
not to Milan. We'll see you in the Champions League.
Yeah. Oh, look at Susan. Take care, everyone. Take care, everyone. To me, to you. Fucking hell. But thank you very much, everybody, for watching. If you have enjoyed the show and you're new to the channel, as usual, please do hit the subscription button and the notification bell, which will let you know when we do upload or we go live. You can also become a member of the Toon Review by hitting the join button just underneath the video itself. And thank you to everybody that has super chatted tonight. Very, very kind. Really do appreciate that. And also go and give the Comb over and his buddies a subscription over on Loaded Mag NUFC. The link to their channel is down below in the description, and it is the right one this time, Daz. I did amend it, so it is the right one. So click on that, go and get yourself subscribed to another fantastic channel. The best two Newcastle channels out there, undoubtedly. So go and give them a sub as well. Thanks, guys, for your company tonight. Thank you to the mods backstage. Thank you to everybody watching. We've had a great show. Hope you've enjoyed it Monday night with us. We will be back tomorrow in some capacity, whether to record a video or a live show. What's coming up on Loaded?
We've got on Thursday. We moved the day there just this evening before the show. So a fully loaded transfer show is on Thursday at 8 with a new lineup. So stay tuned.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Very exciting.
Yeah. So
and we'll be back next week with Paul, the Magnum PI special.
Yes.
And
if any of the other,
welcome to join.
I was going to say, if any of my guys fancy jumping on with me for a bit of support, you're quite welcome to join me. Instead of me taking all the crap off the comb over there. Yeah.
If I've got internet, I'll gladly join. I can't promise any support, but
yeah, I can't promise that bit, but I'm on board.
Oh, it's nice that isn't it? You work with people for a while now, and that's their attitude's disgrace. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to take my face for a shit and burst into tears. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.